What's going on YouTube? So a few years ago, Jeep reintroduced the classic Wagoneer nameplate.
And in the time since, Jeep has also made quite a few updates, including a new powertrain for 2024.
So with the updates since we have last tested this Wagoneer, has this put it over the top of the Tahoe? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's start things off under the hood with our spec dump. So the big news for 2024 is the fact that the Hemi is gone completely from the lineup. You now have a 3-liter twin turbocharged Hurricane inline 6-cylinder across the entire lineup. Power output on this is 420 horsepower. We have an 8-speed automatic transmission, and our fuel economy is coming in at 19 combined for this example.
Now, of course, we will be taking this out on a test drive, and on that test drive, we're going to be doing things like our signature sound level reading. Now, also after that, we'll be talking about pricing as well as 2 new elements, predicted resale value and reliability. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
But first, let's go ahead and close up the hood, take a detailed look at the exterior and then the interior. So when it comes to the exterior design, it'll be instantly recognizable as a Jeep due to having those classic design cues, but it won't be due to the fact that there's a Jeep badge, because you won't find that anywhere on the entire vehicle, only Wagoneer, which is something that's spelled out prominently across the hood. Now, the signature Jeep element, of course, though, is your signature 7-slot grille. This can't be recognized as anything else except a Jeep with that grille. You're gonna have the chrome accents, but the carbide edition, that does give you more blacked out elements. This one here is a Series 2, so we've got a lot of chrome, including down here on our lower fascia as well. Now let's talk about the headlights. Full LED headlights are standard equipment, of course. As you can see, we have a projector, low beam. The high beam is going to be a reflector LED, and then we have our daytime running light and turn signal indicator up there. And then down below, you also find this multi-beam fog lamp. Now moving around to the back, as you can see, boxy is really the name of the game when it comes to the Wagoneer.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different chrome pieces as well to kind of spice up the overall look and kind of harken back to that older Wagoneer model. Now, Drew's going to go ahead and hop inside because we need to look at the taillights and see if all 3 elements are LED. We do that in all of our Car Confections reviews. So we do have an LED brake light portion, LED reverse light down here, and we also have an LED turn signal indicator. So all 3 elements are LED. I really like the overall shaping of the taillights. Of course, you have big Wagoneer spelled out across the back. No one's going to mistake it for anything else. And then dropping down to this lower area, I like that all of this is finished in a body color. No matte plastic or anything like that. No exposed exhaust outlets though. However, one thing I do want to talk about is that the tow rating is 10,000 pounds as a maximum, which is the best in class tow rating for a full-size SUV like this now that we have that updated Hurricane engine.
Now, as far as different wheel options, you've got a few. You're actually going to start out with 18-inch alloy wheels, which are pretty small for a vehicle like this. This is a lot better looking. The 22-inch alloy wheels that are available on this model, it was an option, and as you can see, I do like the two-tone finish that they've done on this, and Wagoneer branding right there in the center once again. Coming up here to our mirrors, you have a nice chrome accent running across with our turn signal indicator. As far as the features on board, blind spot monitoring will be standard on all models. We also have heating and we have auto dimming, but power folding is reserved for the Series 3.
Now here at the side, you're going to see that very unique boxy shape that the Wagoneer has been known for the past couple years. As far as overall vehicle length, it's around 215 inches long for the standard wheelbase version. Yeah, it's a long in its standard wheelbase. However, if you want and need more space, you can actually get the Wagoneer L, which will extend that out 12 more inches up to 227 inches. And that's of course going to give you a little bit more cargo capacity, which we'll talk about in the cargo section. Now, as far as design elements, we do have this chrome piece going through here. We have exposed roof rails up here at the top. I also want to point out that the two-tone roof, that is Grand Wagoneer exclusive. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, the base Wagoneer will only have forward emergency braking, and as you move up the trim levels, you will sprinkle in some more features, but not all of them are going to be standard on all trim levels. But guys, let's go ahead and dive into the very luxurious and spacious interior. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop inside. Here's the key fob. Just like with the outside, no Jeep branding, just Wagoneer. You do have a smart entry system, of course, and built-in remote start. Getting inside, just reach behind the handle. There's a sensor that will unlock the door. And welcome inside a pretty luxurious interior. Obviously, there's quite a bit to talk about in terms of the features, but before we start to get into that stuff, let's talk about our seats and the materials. So, as far as the seats, the base model will come with real leather. Once you get to the Series 2, which is what we have, this is where you get the Napa leather seats. So this is going to be a premium grade of leather, nice perforation on board with good stitching details and everything. Nice and comfortable as well. And in terms of color choices, we have black. Obviously, you can also get sea salt if you prefer that. The adjustments are going to be 12-way power with 4-way lumbar support. And you do also have memory seats located there on the door trim. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now that we're fully inside, let's get into the overall cabin materials. Starting with our door trim, nice leather material through here with stitching detail. You're going to notice a lot of this faux wood trim. It's going to be all throughout the cabin. As we go to the upper dashboard, nice soft touch plastic with the stitching detail. We have more of that faux wood trim, which looks quite realistic, by the way, running all through there, as well as through our center console and into this area. Just kind of a cool waterfalling effect. Here in the center is some piano black, and then the shifter itself is one of the nicer elements. It's made of a knurled real metal. It's very, very high quality to touch. But let's go ahead and fire it up. Now let's get into some specific features of the interior. We'll start off with our gauge cluster. This is a 10¼ inch full digital gauge cluster. You can reconfigure it with several different kinds of information, as you can see. And in addition to that, we also have the available head-up display on today's example. So up top there, you can see you have several different kinds of useful information living up there, including your speed limit. We also have the available rain sensing wipers. And as far as the steering wheel itself, continues to have a unique design. As you can see, it's the 2-spoke look here with the flat bottom, Wagoneer branding, and some more of the wood trim through there. The wheel itself will be power, tilt, and telescoping. We also have steering wheel heating, of course. And the other cool thing we have is power adjusting pedals. So that's good in particular to help you get a good seating position, even if you're a shorter person. Now let's get into our interior storage. So up top, there's going to be a little bit of storage underneath of here. Then we have our broader interior storage. So we've got this huge bin. As you can see, it is really deep, really wide, tons of space inside of there for whatever you're gonna need to put in there. You also have a couple cup holders, and then we press here. This is gonna be another really big storage bin. Right now I've got kind of a wire in there, but this is also a wireless phone charging pad if you get the Series 2, and you've got a ton of USB ports. As far as the shifter is concerned, again, like I said, nice metal shifter on board. Twist over to D for drive, R for reverse. Here's our 360-degree camera system. This is an available option on this model. As you can see, it can switch between several different views. Resolution is pretty good as well. And then you also have an electronic parking brake with brake hold. Now, off to the side here, I did fail to mention this actually on the outside. We have the available air suspension, so obviously that gives you adjustable height. This can go up to 10 inches of ground clearance, but the default's going to be about 8.3 inches of ground clearance. Now the next place we come to are our climate controls. So this is going to be, all physical through here, nice and easy for you to adjust the temperature up and down like so. 3-zone automatic climate is what you have. You can make additional changes by clicking the comfort button. This is also one of the ways that you can turn on and off your 3-stage heated and ventilated seats, although you also have these touch sensitive buttons over here on the side of the display itself. Both of those, by the way, are standard equipment. All right, now let's get into the audio systems. While there is an available Macintosh sound system, we have the standard 9-speaker Alpine. Overall, this fills up the cabin perfectly fine. It has a nice sound to it, but if you're a big audio person, sure, you might want to upgrade to that more advanced sound system. Okay, let's talk infotainment real fast. This is a 10.1-inch display. It is running Uconnect 5.0. What that means is you have wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You also have built-in navigation. Those are the important features. Another thing I do want to point out as well is that you have the availability of getting the passenger display. We don't have it on today's example, but that is an option for those of you who want that feature. Another thing that's an option if you spend a lot more money and get the Grand Wagoneer is going to be a digital camera rear view mirror, but you will still get an auto dimming one with HomeLink universal remotes on the regular Wagoneer. And then up top, when we're looking at the roof, we've got a really large panoramic sunroof. This is going to be an option on this model. As you can see, very large. We have the power sunshade. This front panel does open up, and we have a separate moonroof actually above the third row, which is really cool.
Now, vehicles like this are all about the rear seat area, so let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, we're sitting at about 43 inches of legroom, which is a ton of space, about 40 inches of headroom, which is very close to what you find on like a Tahoe and a Yukon. Those types of vehicles, they all just give you a lot of space. That's, of course, going to be the case with this Wagoneer as well. Now, how much knee space exactly? Well, that's what we measure here at Car Confections in all of our reviews. We bring our ruler. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8". I'm 5'9", and we are sitting at a solid 10 inches of additional knee room. Now, I can slide my feet up underneath the seat. Additionally, I can slide my seat forward and back a very good distance and also recline it a long ways. I don't think the people in the third row would be very happy if you sat like this, but overall, very comfortable second row, that's for sure. As you can see, we have the optional captain's chairs. You can also get bench seating if you want to maximize the amount of rear seating you have in this regular Wagoneer. Now, here in the center, we do have standard vents on every single model. We also have our own climate control, so we can adjust our temperature independent from the front. We also have optional heated rear seats on this particular tester. Vented seats are not an option on this Wagoneer model, so that's something you're going to miss out on over something like a Sequoia Capstone. Dropping down below that, we have 4 charging USB ports. As you can see, perfect for charging up your phone real quick. We also have a household outlet and a 12-volt outlet as well. Down below, we have 2 cup holders integrated. And then we also have some vents integrated in the B-pillar as well. Now, as far as the door trim is concerned, let's dive into this. We have rear window sunshades for this Series 2 model. We also have a pretty nice door trim with soft touch on the top. We have some more faux wood leatherette armrest and some bottle storage down in the very bottom. But let's check out the third row and see where it lands on our Car Confections third row scale. Now, in order to get back here, Jeep has made it pretty easy. You just press this button on the top of the seat back. That tilts the seat forward and allows it to slide up and out of the way. Now, getting back into the third row, once I get my seat kind of adjusted here, wow, this is a very nice third row. Now, as far as the legroom figures are concerned, we're sitting at about 36 inches of legroom for the regular Wagoneer. Wagoneer L gets you an additional 3 inches of legroom, so about 39 inches of legroom if you choose that Wagoneer L model. So do keep in mind, if you're using the third row all the time, you might want to get the Wagoneer L, but this regular version is still incredibly impressive. Of course, I brought my ruler back here as well. We're sitting at 3 inches of additional knee room. I'm 5'9", and this seat is slid all the way back. Additionally, we can slide our feet up underneath the seat, and the thigh support is probably the best thigh support I've ever felt in a third row. I mean, it seriously feels like I'm sitting in just a regular front seat or whatnot when it comes to thigh support. It is not bad at all. Now, as far as features are concerned, let's dive into that. We do have vents integrated over here on the side. We also have this button, which will allow us to power recline the third row back as much as we can. And then we also have 2 USB ports as well. Now, as far as other features, we do not have a rear window sunshade, so do keep that in mind. But the rear glass is very large, so I do want to point that out. I also really like that we do have our own moonroof back here with its own shade. So as far as how it lands on the Car Confections third row rating scale, this is fit for a king. And walking up to the tailgate, in order to open it up, you just find the button right under the lid. That will power open it up. And as far as the space is concerned in this cargo area, obviously this big square Wagoneer has quite a bit of space. And as far as behind the third row, 28 cubic feet is your official cargo measurement. If I fold that down, which I can do with these buttons over here on the side. By the way, that is an optional feature to have the power folding third row. You can also power fold the second row with that lever right there to get all of your seats down. Behind the second row, you're looking at about 65 cubic feet, and as a maximum, you're looking at 116 cubic feet for this Wagoneer version. Now, if you choose the L, we're going to increase that up. You know what the L stands for: long, longer, bigger. So it's going to be about 15 more cubic feet as a maximum, 130 cubic feet as a maximum for the Wagoneer L. Now, that is slightly behind some of the other full-size SUVs that you can get, but it's still just an absolutely absurd amount of space. Now, we're not done measuring yet. Bear with me. We're going to measure how long the cargo area is. If I can get my ruler nice and erect. Oh, it keeps falling on me. All right, so from the back of the driver's seat to the rear of the cargo area, we are sitting at a very cool 98 inches of overall length. Let's get from behind the second row. So from behind the second row, we're still sitting at 60 inches of length. And as far as the overall cargo opening, a very impressive 51 inches wide. So if you can't fit it in this Wagoneer, I don't think you really need to be hauling it in an SUV. You need to get a pickup truck for that job. And then underneath of the floor, you will find a little area for your cargo cover, and your spare tire is going to be integrated underneath of the bumper. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Jeep Wagoneer. In this test drive, we're going to be covering quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading so you can see how quiet this big SUV is. But first, we're going to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration. Nice.
Yeah, so that was a quick acceleration up to about 60 miles per hour. With this Wagoneer, as we mentioned at the spec dump, you know, you do have the Hurricane inline 6 cylinders instead of the previous V8 Hemi, and that does make a difference, of course, but this is very powerful. Even if it sounds different, you still have a lot of power on board, 420 horsepower to be exact, from the 3-liter twin-turbo inline 6.
Which, by the way, 420 horsepower does indeed mean that it matches the up-level powertrain in the Tahoe. So the 6.2 liter, not the 5.3 that's standard on most trim levels. The up-level 6.2, it actually has the exact same horsepower figure, and you have 468 pound-feet of torque, which almost is identical to the up-level version of the Tahoe as well. So very good power figures, and I think that acceleration there showed you that even though it's 2 less cylinders than the Tahoe, it certainly has a lot of pep in its step.
One of the things that I really enjoy versus the previous Hemi is the low-end torque as well. Now, as far as the other aspect of the powertrain, we do have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Nice and smooth transmission. This is pretty much the same as they use in the Ram trucks, for example, and it does a good job. It really shifts out smoothly, gets you up to speed. When you put your foot down, you can get a good downshift quickly.
Yeah, you do also have the option between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, and that's going to be across all trim levels of this Wagoneer. So if you want to save a little bit of money, you can choose the 2-wheel drive setup. And big SUVs like this are really just designed to melt away the miles on long road trips. So let's go ahead and quickly dive into the ride quality for this Wagoneer. Now, ride quality is very good. First and foremost, I do want to mention that we have the optional air suspension. That is an option on the Wagoneer model. It is standard on the Grand Wagoneer. We'll be covering that in a separate review, but air suspension is an option on this version still, and we do have that option today. And I think that's a very good thing when it comes to your ride quality, because when you hit a bump, this Wagoneer can really soak it up very nicely. It does have stiff competition with the Tahoe when it comes to ride quality, and I think this does compete very good against the Tahoe. I also want to point out that we have a pretty comfortable seat overall, although I will mention that you might be able to get a more comfortable seat if you choose the Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah, this is a huge SUV, and really it's effortless how this engine really powers this vehicle. It really just makes it feel so smooth, and the engine itself has a good character to it as well. It's just a very smooth and refined engine. You can feel that in all aspects of NVH, so you just don't have like a really harsh sound or anything like that. You also don't have any big vibrations coming into the cabin. It's overall really just feels more sophisticated than the previous Hemi. I do recognize, of course, you don't have the burly V8 note that the previous Hemi had, and some of you might miss that, but overall this is a more luxurious experience than that engine provided. All right, let's go ahead and do today's slam dunk and airball. I'll start off with the slam dunk. That is going to be the Hurricane engine. I think this is really cool. It's a new feature that's like standard now across the entire lineup, so all of the Wagoneers are going to have this now, and I think this is a big improvement. You're getting more power, better fuel economy, more refinement. It's a good improvement for sure.
And the airball is going to be the price. We haven't quite mentioned it yet, but the price of this Wagoneer is going to be pretty expensive, and it's even going to slot in above a lot of those main rivals when it comes to sticker price. But we're going to go ahead and get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour because we're on our designated strip of road. So I'll go ahead and put the fan speed on 1. 54.9 decibels is our official sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour in the Wagoneer. Now, we don't have to sit here and guess how that compares to the rivals because we can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings, and on our website we've actually posted all of this vehicle's competition, the Tahoe, the Expedition, all of those different products you can find on there and see how this compares. That is a very good sound level reading. The only two vehicles that kind of outrank it would be the Ford Expedition and the GMC Yukon Denali. Those are a little bit quieter, but not by much. I mean, it's very impressive, this sound level reading that we got on this Wagoneer overall. And I think a lot of that may have to do with that new refined inline 6-cylinder. It just is an engine that blends into the background and is nice and quiet. Now, I do also want to talk about another benefit of that inline 6-cylinder, and that's going to be your fuel economy. Your fuel economy is very impressive. So as tested today, we're coming in at 19 miles per gallon combined. We have the 4-wheel drive system, inline 6-cylinder. Of course, if you choose 2-wheel drive, your fuel economy is going to boost up quite a bit. I believe it'll be sitting around 23 mpg, which is better than stuff like the Tahoe in terms of fuel economy. And lastly, for your warranty, you do have a 3-year 36 basic and a 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty. Now let's talk pricing. Of course, this isn't all going to come cheap, so we start at around $59,000 for the base trim level with 2-wheel drive. There is 1,000 different trim levels that you can pick between, especially when you factor in L versus non-L. We do have this particular model as a regular Wagoneer Series 2 with a couple option packages on it. We have $2,000 as our destination charge, and we are sitting at $85,745 as tested today. Now, if you're looking to buy a Jeep Wagoneer or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. Now let's talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up is resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this vehicle's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years, this vehicle will be worth 53% of its original price, and after 10 years, it'll be worth about 25% of its original price, which is above average.
We've also done the same for potential reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. Based on this ranking, Jeep is rated just about average in relation to all other vehicle makes.
If you'd like to check out all of our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and /reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place for you to go if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle makes to determine which one might be better than the other. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Jeep Wagoneer. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did because that was the point of us making this review, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're joining in on this Car Confections family. We do a ton of car reviews that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. And if you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.